Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I'm here at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. As you can see, it closes on November 15th, and it's late November now, so you can't go down inside the refuge. But they have right up here a gazebo. Not sure if you can see that in the shot, but they have a gazebo up there where you can observe the refuge below. And there's Sandhill Cranes here and some other wildlife. And Heather and I are here, and our friend Ron Durant's here, and we are going to do some photography of Sandhill Cranes and things of that nature here at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. Okay, we've come to the main viewing area of the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. The Sandhill Crane season has begun, and while we were nearby here, we thought we'd stop by and see what we can see. And there are plenty of sandhills over there and a few over in this direction. So let's get to shooting. We've mostly been concentrating on these two that are really close to us. Everybody's been making shots of them, but every once in a while there will be some that fly in or out close enough to make some shots. And it's just great to be here at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. I made a short video clip of the two Sandhill Cranes that we photographed extensively in this first section. Now later on in the video we have some in-flight shots. But during this early section of the video, I'm concentrating, and so is Heather, mostly on these two birds that were really close to us, or relatively close. They're large, and they almost filled the frame with her using an APS-C camera and 500 millimeters, and me using full frame and 800. But we were thrilled with the kind of golden background of the dried up grass or straw, and we really liked kind of the blue tint of the bird. So it's nice to have cool and warm tones in your photograph. And the ones that say Canon are my photos, and the ones that say Nikon are Heather's photos. And you can see there's a large bird and a smaller one, and I believe this is a mated pair. I could be completely wrong. And I'm not sure if the male is the larger or if the female is the larger one. I think a lot of times in birds the male is the smaller, but I'm really not sure how it works on Sandhill Cranes. Some of you people who know more than me can help me out with that, but it was really nice to photograph these with relatively close. This is the only one where there's only one bird in the shot, where it's the small one that Heather got. Every time I photographed just one of the two, I always photograph the larger one, as you can see right here. But again, it was really nice to photograph these birds relatively close without bothering them at all. They were behaving as they would behave, and just a beautiful background, and everything about this opportunity was great. Most of the time when you go to the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge, there are not any birds really close to you. Occasionally they'll fly by really close, and photographs like that you'll see a little bit later in the video. Well, we are just having all sorts of autofocus conversations, and the birds are starting to fly in a little bit more in pairs and threes. And as you can see, the sun is shining this way. So when we're shooting that way, we have the sun to our back, which is what you want when you're doing bird photography. There are more birds over in this direction, but we don't have good sun angle for them, so those shots over in that direction aren't coming out good. And one pair flew in, and we were able to shoot them with water in the background, and those came out really cool. I'll show you that now. Okay, here are the in-flight photographs. This is my photograph, and look at all the mud on these Sandhill Cranes' feet and on their beaks and even on their head. Really love this photograph I was able to capture. And look, Heather got a nice in-flight photograph herself using the Nikon Z50 and the 200 to 500 f5.6 lens. Great sun angle. We're looking in generally the same direction as we were for the birds that were walking around on the ground. Here is another mud covered Sandhill Crane. This one is flying a little bit closer and by some trees that were in the background. And here's the photograph I was talking about, where I captured a couple of these Sandhill Cranes as they were flying towards us with the water in the background. Thought that was really beautiful. And then we had another little unexpected treat. There were some eastern meadowlarks there, and I wasn't happy with my photographs of the eastern meadowlarks, but Heather made a nice identification purposes photograph of an eastern meadowlark here. Well, we were on the way home and I spotted a red-tailed hawk in this tree, and it was covered by branches and hardly backlit, but I walked over here to try to get a better angle on the bird, and of course I spooked it, flushed it out, whatever you want to call it, and it flew from that tree over to that tree, and I started walking that way just a little bit, and then it flew right across with good sun angle and went way over there. And so I think during all of that mess, I may have gotten at least one somewhat decent photograph of a beautiful red-tailed hawk in flight. So let's take a look at that now. This is probably the best in-flight red-tailed hawk photograph I've ever made. And it's cool because this was maybe a half a mile, maybe only a quarter mile. It was really, really close to the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge, and it just happened to be in that tree, and I saw it as we were on the way home. Okay, thanks for watching our video from here at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. I hope you enjoyed the photography and all the beautiful birds that we get to see here at the Hiwassee Wildlife Refuge. If you like the content, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And as always, we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.